In this video I made Fortnite with realistic graphics, and I also wonder what Jonesy would look like if he had realistic textures and realistic hair. I recommend watching until the end of the video because this has taken me a lot of time. But the problem is I only have 3 days to accomplish all of these things, to make a realistic scene and also a gameplay scene, and I wanted to make Jonesy as well look realistic, so I had to accomplish this within 3 days. So I got to work. So the first thing I did was took the Fortnite rocks and replaced it with realistic looking ones, and then the vegetation and grass and all types of plants and trees, I actually used some Fortnite ones and changed up the textures a little bit. And then with the tree, what I did in the end was taking its normal oak tree and then just changed it a bit to make it look more realistic. Looked a bit weird, but it did work out in the end. Well, the biggest part of the scene, I started taking all the rocks that I have downloaded and I started copy and pasting them in the scene. The idea for this was to create a waterfall effect and to make it look kind of like with realistic water with some good reflections. At this point I thought it was a good time to add the water. All I did was use a plane and to make it transparent because the water had a black background. For a lot of the light rays, all I did was just taking the mist texture that I already had and just put it onto a rectangle and just copied it around the scene. And personally my favourite bit to this scene was adding Colombo. Obviously having that colour of Colombo just really made the scene pop a lot more. Everything was going perfectly. The last thing that I had to do was to pose the skin, but as soon as I was about to do that, I got the massive error of Blender. It crashed on me, so I lost all of the work that I did and then I had to start all over again. But then I had backups in the end, so that helped me out a lot, and I made sure to actually save my file this time. With many hours going into this scene, I finally completed it. I added the skins pose, I added Colombo, I added all of the effects and everything that I wanted to do. This is the final scene. I messaged a couple content creators that you might know, like Deluxe Plays and Mr. Top 5. Their reaction that they really enjoyed it and they thought it was insane. So the next part of my project was to make Jonesy look realistic. How I accomplished this was obviously changing the skin pores so you could see detail within the skin. I changed the eyebrows and obviously I added him with a little stubble beard and eyebrows and hair to make it look realistic. We all know Fortnite have their own stylized creation, so I thought making him realistic would have been a different way. So this is the final result of Jonesy. In my opinion, it doesn't look the greatest. Well, definitely something that I have to improve on when I come to making realistic renders. But as well for this one, it was a very fun one. Definitely with the hair was the hardest bit about this. And you could definitely tell it does look like Jonesy because it's the same head. But then the realism just isn't there at all. Time was ticking. I had 6 hours left and I haven't even started the final scene yet. My idea was to have someone driving the tank, driving towards Colombo, and of course Colombo was suited up. To achieve the armored Colombo, what I had to do is add the knee pads, shoulder pads, and also the guns on top of the tank, and I just replaced that and put it onto Colombo. He was ready for war. After Colombo was set up for war, I had to pose the skin and also Colombo himself. So what I started to do is obviously moving the face to make him look angry and obviously making sure that he's ready to fight the tank. After I made everything within Blender, I went into Photoshop and made the official changes to make this scene complete. I started off with changing the background to make it a bit brighter, more a thumbnail look, and I started putting tanks in the background to make it look like he was surrounded by tanks. The last bit that I had to do to make it look gameplay official is to add the items and of course the healing and everything that you have within Fortnite to make gameplay look realistic. Just in time after the few hours, we finally completed all the scenes, making the realistic wallpaper, of course realistic Jonesy that I failed, and also a gameplay realistic. Please like and subscribe because in my upcoming video I'm going to be making custom skins made by the community and I'm going to be creating them within Blender.